Hello, and welcome to Shamrock Talk, the internet's #1 mother-son Celtics podcast. I'm your host, Jake Olin, here once again with my mother, Karen Olin.
Hello.
We're back in person, Shamrock Talk Studios. Apologize for last time. We had some technical difficulties, both with the audio and video. I think audio I got down. Video still TBD, so if you're at the YouTube crowd and this cuts out, once again, sorry. But we're getting there. We're going to give us a couple more episodes and we'll get the studio going and we'll be rocking. And all right, that's all I got to say about that.
All right.
Let's get into it. Since we last spoke, the Celtics went 3-1 on the week, 10-3 overall, first in the Atlantic Division, second in the Eastern Conference, fourth in the NBA, although that could kind of flip-flop. There's a lot of ties or teams that have played less games and whatnot. And fifth in the NBA Cup East Group C, bottom last, which we will get into in a bit. But we got a couple to get to before we get into that one. Let's get into the first one. Celtics last Friday beat the Nets in overtime, 108-104. You were at the game, your birthday game.
Yep.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah, how's the crowd? TD watch.
Oh, it was
on
really
the Friday.
good. Yeah,
Friday game.
It was a back and forth game, so it was exciting.
It was.
It was a very exciting game. I mean, obviously, probably shouldn't have gone into overtime, but Nets playing much better in this game than I ever thought they would. And I think Schroeder is a great addition. I think in this game he was really good for them.
Yeah. No JB, no Cornette for the Celtics. We did see Ben Simmons though, 27 minutes.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. Still not shooting, but passing and dribbling. I mean, it's definitely a confidence problem because his athleticism is fine. He had a couple brilliant assists that obviously, great passes. Yeah. But still kind of out of it.
Tentative
and wide open at times and won't take the shot. So it's a very interesting.
Yeah. I don't know.
Very interesting scenario.
Yeah, you and Brett were pretty adamant he's retiring after the year. I don't know.
I think he's going to have to. I mean, can he stand the ridicule for another? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
And maybe he just blends away and he plays and is just happy. Who knows?
Plays in Australia, his home country or something. I don't know. It is one of the more bizarre situations in recent NBA history. Yeah, this one, I mean, Nets led for a lot of this game. Cam Thomas, first look at him kind of at the reins. I thought he was really good, especially in the first half. He's got a little bit of Isaiah Thomas in him, I think. Small guard, very ball dominant, but...
And thick, like a big guy able to kind of move, move you around pretty easily.
Yeah.
But I just thought they moved the ball well. They're very athletic, very athletic. I think the only drawback for them is they don't have any superstars really to take control.
Yes.
They just don't have that, person that can guide the team.
Yeah.
Yet. And like I said, I think he's a good fit for them right now, but I don't think he's that person necessarily. No. But yeah, they were fun to watch. They're going to be a fun team and they're hanging in there.
Yeah.
With a lot of the Eastern teams.
From a Celtics perspective, I mean, we'll get into this a little more, but still questions down the stretch, same as last year, about offensively executing in the final seconds and what happens to our offense, chances to win the game at the end there and in regulation, and it's a bad shot taking by the usual suspects. But you win the game anyway in overtime, so, little nitpicky, can't complain there.
Yeah, I think the nitpicking just goes to the future, right? If you can't execute
close
with the Nets,
correct.
Then, you're going to question execution later.
Sure.
But
agreed.
my big question is Xavier Tillman. Like, I almost hope that he has an injury because he's just played so poorly when he's been out there and got so few. I mean, he hasn't played several of the games, but he started this game. They gave him a chance to.
Did he? I didn't even remember that. Then, I think I missed the beginning of this
and
one.
then I'm pretty sure, right? Yeah, he started.
You could be right. You were there. I mean,
yeah, he started this game, and then played 5 minutes. 5 minutes and 52 seconds total.
Mm-hmm. He did start. Yeah.
Just a very interesting.
Well, in his 5 minutes, he was a minus 14.
Yeah.
By far,
and he's just not quick. They are very quick, quick to the hoop players. Yeah. So he's not a fast guard, defense on a guard type of.
Yeah, I don't know. But I just feel like with the emergence of Keita, his strength and skill sets have just greatly diminished. I don't know what you're putting him out there for.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, again, I've said this before. I think the big hope for Tillman was that he was going to be able to shoot threes this year.
Yeah.
And that is just absolutely not panned out.
Three there, yeah. So I guess if you're not shooting threes and your defense isn't very good, then you're...
And you're not tall, Yeah. When you're playing the Giannis's and the Embiids, you throw them in there to foul twice and just use 2 fouls. But other than that, I mean...
Bang him a little.
What's he in there for that Keita can't do better? I mean, not much. If you can't play that Al Horford spread out role, get the big guys out of the paint, then then I just think we have other guys in the roster that are going to take those minutes from you. But
good game for Peyton Pritchard.
Always. He is just unbelievable now.
Even when he's not, at a high percentage for three, his defense and the other end of the court and just how he guards the top of the key just makes such a big difference.
Yeah,
it really does
just
make a big
aggressive,
difference.
Wearing guys down.
Especially with this level, I mean, maybe it's a little different later on when you play a superstar guard.
Yeah.
Then it's a little more questionable. But for these athletic guys that are younger, he does a great job shutting it down.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if he can keep it up with his minutes that are jacked up. I mean, he played 34 minutes in this game.
Yeah. Yes. Even with Jalen here, he's played.
That's what I mean.
Extended
He
minutes.
keeps playing a bunch of minutes, and when you're that kind of spark plug guy, it's a little, the energy is a little different. You can kind of go all out for shorter minutes, but it'll be interesting to see if he can kind of keep up the production if they keep playing him as much as they have.
Which he did yesterday.
Yeah. Well, let's keep rolling. We'll get to the next one. Celtics once again win in Milwaukee. 113-107 against the Bucks. Jaylen Brown, first game back. He missed, 5, I think?
Yeah.
First one back for him with the hip injury or whatever's going on there.
And you have to question, the hip injury anyway, because he played 37 minutes. Like, that's not easing him back in. And he doesn't ever play soft, really. So it's just you're questioning. I'm not questioning the pain or that there is an injury, but the type of injury.
Sure. Well,
because
they said said he has been feeling it since training camp.
Yeah.
So clearly it's a nagging, kind of more annoyance injury than it is, serious.
Exactly. Because you wouldn't put him in for 37 minutes.
Sure, but that almost scares you more because it's like,
yeah,
you never know when it's going to pop up again. Yeah. He's out. Yeah. He's feeling it.
But certainly in his first game back wouldn't have put him in 37 minutes.
And it didn't, a little rusty, but it didn't look like he was at all limited athletically.
No, he seemed normal.
Yeah, agreed.
Or as normal as you could for not playing for that many games and coming back.
This was the prototypical Bucks Celtics game to me. Giannis, super dominant first half, looks unstoppable, and then just tires out, and they have nobody else that really picks up the slack. I thought Lillard was terrible. Yeah. Again, he's one of these Trae Young guys where it's like the defensive liability is so poor that he has to be so good offensively.
Agreed.
To kind of make up. And Dame for a lot of his career has been that guy, but.
When you're him and you're 1 for 8 at the 3, then you are a liability.
On defense.
Yes.
When you're a minus on both ends, it gets so glaring that it's like, oof, this is like really
So when he
bad.
has that kind of game,
it's just so glaring. Yeah. Like,
agreed. And you're right. Giannis can't sustain that without help from somebody else.
No, he had like almost 30 points in the first half.
And again, not that it was a blowout by any means.
they just faded. You just knew that they were up at they were up at the half, and you just felt the Celtics storming back. Yeah. That big third quarter. I mean, that's just classic Celtics. And, once the Celtics kind of got going, you just felt like we had the game, and we did.
And even though it was close, it just felt like we were in control.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Did you see I doubt you've seen it, the Nike thing with Giannis and JB. So in the game, Giannis stuck the hand out and then did the hair thing. And so after the game, Jaylen Brown said Giannis is a child, like blah blah blah. And then so Nike today tweeted nothing childish about this, because he had 59 points last night. 59. They said nothing childish about this. 59 points for Giannis, which I just thought was so weird.
Yeah.
Well, because
wasn't he a sponsor for?
What? Giannis is. Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
So, but Jaylen Brown publicly is feuding with Nike.
Oh,
because he says part of the reason he didn't get to Team USA is because he doesn't have a good relationship with Nike, and that's part. But it's just such a weird choice on Nike's part to like. Yeah. So you're almost.
Yeah. All media is good media.
Sure, right? I guess maybe.
All media is. I mean, we're talking about it.
Yeah. But it's just a weird decision on their part. It's like you're kind of adding fire to the flame that. Yeah. Maybe that is the reason he didn't get chosen. Like I don't know, weird choice on their part to play into that, but interesting.
Yeah, I didn't see that. That's funny.
Yeah, it just happened today, I think. Yeah, he had 59 points. They beat the Pistons last night. They've won 2 games since their Celtics lost. They're now 4-8, I think.
What was the score with the Pistons?
120, 127. It was close.
That was a close game.
Yeah.
They're gonna struggle.
Watch it.
They gotta, unless they recruit. I don't know what their salary cap is, but I think they need somebody if they're going anywhere this year.
Yeah.
They just, I don't think you can rely on Lillard, and he has to be shooting lights out. Mm-hmm. And with a good team that's defending him well. Yeah. That's difficult. And without him, I don't think they have anybody consistent. And it's funny because, Brooke Lopez, I think is at a loss with Doc. I think Doc is trying to play him differently than he used to play. Yeah. And keep him closer to the hoop, but he was always the one that set those picks at the top. Yeah. And then he was available for the 3, and that has been his role for a while. Not that he didn't play defense low, not that he wasn't, but I do think they're trying to keep him closer and make him a little more offensive inside the paint. Yeah.
Because now you have Lillard, who just kind of changes that complexity. Yeah. Where again, when you have a guy like Drew that can kind of play down on the block, you can bring your big guys up and shift people around more. Yeah. I don't know.
But it's just interesting because I do think that that is a piece that Doc's going to have to figure out how to. I think I think Brooke is at a loss right now, and I think he could be much, much better and more effective for the team once they get his role, established.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like.
I mean, they could have fed him. If they fed him correctly, we had nobody that's that tall. If they figured that out, and and who knows, maybe he's not dynamic enough in those passes. I don't know, but when there were people guarding him or rebounding next to him, clearly the tallest by far.
I don't know. This is strange. It's like this is year 2 of Lillard, though. I know Doc came in kind of mid-year last year, but it's like if you're not figuring it out by now, I don't know.
Well, you have to have much better screens. He's got to get open much easier than he has been. Yeah. It's just too difficult. And then he was just this game, even when he was open, he was missing. So there was not a lot he could do or they could do. But underwhelming overall, with the exception of Giannis, underwhelming.
I mean, that's what they've been all year. They're 4-8. We're 2-8 after we beat them. So
I think we have 3 wins now, right?
4. They've won 2 in a row. So they're 4-8.
Gotcha.
But agreed. Not, and I mean, that's all great, but I don't like their other guys either.
Well, this was my point during this game. Now that I'm thinking about it, so AJ Green is a 3-point shooter. Yeah. He was 4 for 6. He took 6 shots in 26 minutes. Yeah. He was the one that actually was hitting from 3. Yeah. And they didn't use him. No. Explain that to me. He came in, he was in for extended periods of time. Yeah. And they didn't use him.
Yeah, he was their only role player that I felt was at all threatening.
Yeah. 6 shots total.
Yeah.
And he was 4 for 6 at 3.
A little bizarre.
Like, that's just strange.
Got a little Sam Hauser in him.
Yes.
Reminds me of Sam Hauser.
So that's a little shocking for me. Same thing. I said the same thing about Torian Prince. He was 3 for 4 at 3. And he only shot 4 times.
Yeah.
And he played 38 minutes. Like, why isn't he taking more shots? So it just seems like a easy, give him 3 shots. See how he does. If he keeps going, feed him. I don't know. It's just strange to me. But
Yep. All right. Well, let's get to the big one. First NBA Cup game, and the Celtics lose at home 116-117 to the Atlanta Hawks. Yeah, not good. Not a good loss, especially being the NBA Cup game, if you care about that at all.
Well, if I'm Quinn Snyder, I'm not playing Trey in the next few games, right? Like,
I agree. I've been anti-Trey Young for a long time.
I like Trey, and I think he was fun to watch. But the first time we played him, we said he was a liability, and he was benched quite a few minutes. But he didn't play that much. And then this game, without him, they didn't miss a beat.
Every time he's out, I feel like the team is like galvanized because they're like, we don't have to watch this guy dribble around for 40 minutes and then chuck up bad shots. Like, even last year, remember they beat us when he was out with DeJounte Murray, took like 40 shots or whatever, and they beat us in overtime. Yeah, I don't know. Something's fishy about that whole situation because guys seem to be very up for games when he's not playing.
And I didn't see their record after that. I don't know who they played or what they did, but I was wondering if
they've played since.
It's probably one of those they lost to.
They haven't played. They play the Wizards tomorrow. That was their last game.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
To see how I thought that they looked very, very good, and I thought they played very hard.
Yep.
Moved the ball very well, actually.
Well, that's the thing. Like, Trae Young's so ball dominant too. It's like the ball never moves,
but they go to the hoop incredibly well. I mean, they just have some. Very good players.
Any thoughts on the NBA Cup court?
Oh, it was ugly.
The green? Yeah. I hate it every time.
And the first quarter was so weird how many bad threes were shot. Did you notice that? Like,
no, I mean,
missing.
just like way off. Yeah.
Like completely off. So I kind of wonder.
So the ball is different as well.
Yeah,
I don't
that was
know
another thing they were talking
about. They
about.
said that there shouldn't be an effect, but
brackets.
It looks terrible. I just don't get the whole thing. It's so weird. It's so like just put the big trophy on the normal court. We don't need like the all green is just too much for me. I don't know.
Well, it stands out.
Definitely stands out. But other than that, not a great game.
Derek White, great game for Derek.
It was, yes. I thought this was a real Tatum stinker though. And, the stats are, he didn't shoot well, 8 assists, 6 rebounds.
I agree with
+4, but it's not that 5 turnovers, but it's not, it was to me, the thing that drives me up the wall is the effort.
Yeah.
There were multiple plays down the stretch where he wasn't shooting well. He's frustrated, jogging back off a turnover, not getting back on defense, which led to transition baskets for them. That's what just drives me up the wall. It's like when you're not shooting well.
Yes.
And you have 5 turnovers, like, let's make up for it on the other end. You can't pout and then be bad on both ends, and then you end up losing the game.
Which I think he did later in the game. I think that you could see more effort. They wanted to win, and you could
sure,
see a little,
okay, but let's do that the whole game and make sure you don't lose like you did. Like,
and some of these turnovers for Jalen and Jason with this were the double team at the top, and they were
Jalen had 6 as well.
A little bit of Trae Young in them. Dribbling too much.
Yeah, I mean,
into
classic.
Double team, had the ball swatted away or stolen a few times each.
Yeah.
I mean, same thing. Too long with the ball out there, and you have to read the defense and know can't do that anymore.
Well, again, these guys have big athletic wings too that can guard these guys.
Yes,
so.
yes. Their defense was for the most part very, very good. I thought.
Yeah. Well, it also just drives me up. We've talked about this before that Scal just will not criticize Tatum. It's like, okay. Like, he's clearly, every excuse in the book.
And he did. Like, it's funny. He had 37 points, but they weren't
that really... That was Jaylen Brown.
Tatum. I mean, 20. That's right.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Tatum
20. He was not shooting well. Yeah. But, yes, this was an abysmal game.
Well, again, it's the effort for me. It's like...
I mean, he did only take 16 shots. I give him credit for that because in the past... He's still taking 20-something shots.
Again, I don't really even care about the shooting, but you have to, again, as I talked about earlier, when you have like a Trae Young or a Lillard that's not shooting well and they don't have the defensive capabilities, that's different. But he has the defensive capabilities. Yes. And if you're going to not shoot well and then be lazy in transition and jogging back.
There was one 3-point shot where he was at the top. It was a good long three, and he was at the top. He shot, missed.
And then the guy beat him back.
He was literally one of the last people back.
Yes.
He was not even
correct.
Cool.
Well, no, he shot.
Yeah.
The guy goes up to contest and runs by him.
Oh, that's right.
And he just stays there as they whip the ball right over his head for an easy dunk for the guy on the other side of the court. It was like...
which again, I don't know what the shot process is if you're supposed to follow through.
Well, I think technically another guy is supposed to, be the guy there. But again, no effort at all to get back. Yeah. It's like
this one they were blending. This one was the one where there were some really bad 3-point shots from him.
Yeah,
really bad.
Yeah,
and he just kept doing it late in the game.
The effort is what he gets so frustrated if he's not playing well, and then the effort level goes down, and that's what drives you up a wall, especially in a close game. It's not like they blew us out. But that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah.
D.
White was excellent.
Yes, he was. He's had some good games in general, I think. Any other NBA Cup thoughts? I don't know.
I mean, now we don't care about the NBA Cup. That was our assess at the end. Well, I guess we are focused on the end of the NBA Finals.
Yeah, the NBA Cup is stupid and doesn't matter unless the Celtics win, and then it's a big deal that we won. Until the Celtics win one, we don't care.
Yeah.
And I feel like every fan base feels that way. They're like, oh, who cares unless your team wins, and then we got the NBA Cup this year.
Yeah.
Well,
it's so funny because these are the type of games we lose, though, right? Trae Young is out.
Well, let's not forget we lost the first NBA Cup game last year.
Yeah,
the Magic crushed us.
Yeah.
We lost by 18.
They didn't expect these guys to be as good because last time we played them,
we crushed them. Yeah.
So it is all about intensity a lot of times, and these guys played well. I mean, they played better than they did last game without Trae. So I do give them credit.
Yeah. No, I agree.
But it does seem kind of typical for us to face a team like this that the superstars aren't there, and we're not quite prepared mentally to step up.
And again, that's a good and a bad thing. When you're the defending champions, you have a little bit more leeway in terms of falling asleep on certain nights. But let's not make it NBA Cup night. Come on.
Yeah, I know. We don't care anymore. We're over the cup.
Yeah, over the cup.
And I think we say that because who do we play next for the cup?
Oh,
in the cup game. So we'll get to that.
Yes, we will. All right, last one. Last night, Celtics defeat the Nets in Brooklyn, 139-114. Most points we've scored this year at 139. Tatum makes up for his bad last game. I thought he was really good this game.
He was shooting well, yes.
1 rebound away from a triple-double, which you could tell he really wanted. But yeah, I mean, again, the scores are not, I would say, totally indicative of the game. It was close for a good portion of it.
It definitely was not, probably because we were shooting better, but definitely was not the same type of game the first game was, I didn't think.
No.
Ben Simmons was out. I'm not sure that really made that much of a difference. But not quite as good on defense the second half of the game for the Brooklyn Nets.
They just faded.
There were moments
I don't know
when
what it was.
When they started to disappear. And we were shooting in the second half there. We had a lot of threes.
Yeah.
That went in, and so I'm not sure if they were. Yeah.
Yeah. First half, I felt like they looked
the same. They played hard, and then all of a sudden
it
was
really unraveled for them. I'm not exactly sure.
Agreed.
What it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, we already discussed Brooklyn, so I don't have too much to say on this one. Another great game from Pritchard. 36 minutes again, which is more than a lot of the starters. No Al Horford in this one as well.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of complaints. I think Jaylen Brown annoyed me more than Tatum this game. A little bit too much.
ISO.
Yeah,
trying to do it by yourself.
Very
I agree. A couple
obvious.
possessions, so where it's
like
spread out, and here you.
I know you're muscular, but do you have to go in on 3 people every time? Like, I don't know. Just he didn't move the ball as well as I wanted to.
I would agree.
I think he had 12 rebounds, 4 assists. I mean, he played well, but there were moments of like, I'm sure if I'm D. White and Drew Holiday, I'm like, okay.
Here we go.
This is boring. And a lot of times maybe they weren't in. But there were moments where I was just like, okay, come on. We did this last time. And at times he'd make them. So 1 on 3. So you couldn't complain too much. But it was, there were moments of annoying with him. And it was funny because there was once where Jason, it was a little closer in the beginning, and Jason Tatum kind of did the same thing. His shot, he wasn't shooting quite as well during a little stretch in the beginning of the game. And a rebound came off, and it was his guy that got he was still on the floor. Like, he didn't even jump up for it. It was almost like he was in his own head. I'm not sure what he was thinking, or maybe he was talking to a ref on the side. I don't know, but he didn't even move.
Yeah.
So it was at that moment where it was like, what are you doing? Are you not in this game?
Yeah.
And it usually comes when he's struggling a little bit, or his, shot didn't go that he thought should, or whatever. But other than that, you really can't complain. I mean, everybody. 47 at 3, 40% at 3. That 47% at 3. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Funny thing is, they were 44%.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it was that far off. A big difference was free throws weren't even that. I mean,
and we shot way more shots than them. They turned
93. Yeah, there you go.
A couple more turnovers and stuff like that. Yeah. Offensive rebounds.
But it wasn't like especially the first part of the game, they were shooting horribly because they shot pretty well overall. Another team, it's going to be interesting to see how they do because they've got a lot of talent.
5 and 7, I mean.
Yeah, exactly. Especially in the East right now, everybody, a good 8 teams are within 3 games.
I mean, again, you expect some of these teams, the Bucks and the Sixers to kind of make their moves in the standings eventually, but you never know.
Yeah, I mean, they have 10 guys that play.
Couple injuries, couple something happens, and
substantial minutes.
You never know. They're the 8 seed right now. So yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But definitely, where did I have them? Where did I have the Nets?
Last.
I had the Nets last.
You had the Nets last.
I love to keep this here to check it.
Pointing at the camera.
Yeah. I love to keep it here to see how horribly wrong I was. Wizards, at least I'm somewhat right on the Wizards, although they.
Yeah, the Wizards are down there.
Yeah. Pistons are not. They're right in the middle right now.
5 and 8. Yeah. Tough loss last night.
Yeah. Close games.
All right, let's get to it. Opponent of the week. Who'd you like? I thought there were a couple of good choices this week. I'm sure we might have a similar pick.
Larry Nance Jr.
Oh, yeah, that I was not expecting.
Larry Nance Jr.
He was really good.
He was so good. He was their shining light.
Yes.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, go back to the stats and look at him. A shocking shining light. I mean, he was 5 for 6 at 3.
Yeah, I mean, like a little lucky there.
7 for 10 shooting. But I thought his defense was
he's decent. A good player. He's always been a good player. It's interesting that he landed on this team somehow.
I thought he was a very good piece in this game. A big surprise for me, anyway.
Yeah.
Ended up with 19 points in 27 minutes. I mean, I thought he was good.
Yeah.
I mean, and, I was looking back. I know he's older. He's been on many teams. 31, played for 9 years. And his last accolade was Defensive Player of the Year in 2015.
He won Defensive Player of the Year? No way.
Am I wrong?
Am
I wrong? Did I read it wrong? I did a little research.
He won Defensive Player of the Year.
Am I wrong?
I have to look this up. I can't believe that.
Maybe I looked it up wrong.
You might be right.
2015. Am I wrong?
Yes, you are.
Oh no. What did he win in 2015?
I don't know. Kawhi Leonard was the Defensive Player of the Year.
All right, so I read it wrong.
Was he defensive team, maybe? All defensive first team or something?
Maybe that's what it was.
All defensive first team. 2015.
All right, I'll look it up while you name yours.
I don't know what you're talking about. Is he a rookie? Was he?
Whatever. We'll figure. Maybe it was in college.
Yeah, 2015.
Oh, never mind. I must have read it. Oh, yes. It was college. Defensive Player of the Year. Okay, I feel better. I'm like, I read defensive. Yeah. And it's 2015. That's the year he was
that he got you.
Okay. I feel better. But anyway, my point was that never has he been on my radar watching him play in all of these years. Really. He's okay.
Years,
yeah, he's okay. But I thought he did very well.
Yeah.
On this new team, and he was a good little piece, and he helped them. I mean, his 3-point scoring, I think, pushed them over the edge.
I agree.
All right, he was Defensive Player of the Year, so it wasn't all wrong.
No,
but it was college, not NBA. I was a little shocked when I wrote it down too. It's like, he was Defensive Player.
Like crazy.
It was just a quick research. Yeah,
Defensive Player of the Year does get weird sometimes, but not that weird.
Your face, he was talking.
All right, well, I went with his teammates. A little more obvious of a choice. Last week, I went with Jalen Johnson. So we have 3 straight Hawks as opponents of the week. I mean, seeing as they beat us, not too surprising. But I had Dyson Daniels, Jalen Johnson's look-alike this week.
Yes. He was good.
Really good. Yes. Oh, my gosh. Yes. Both. I mean, again, I like Jalen Johnson, too. He wasn't as good this game. But they're just like... If they could shoot a little more, they'd be really good players because they have that, like, it reminds me of the Jays, the long, big, good defensively, drive to the hoop. Yes,
are excellent.
Exactly.
Really,
I know.
Really
that's what I mean. If they could
defend.
just get a good 3-point shot where they were really a threat from there, both those guys, I mean, just have all the physical tools to be really good.
I agree.
And he killed us both offensively and defensively.
Yes. He was really good. 100%. I agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of their moves to the hoop were unbelievable.
And I'll give an honorable mention to Zaire Williams, Brooklyn. Thought he was really good for them, especially in the second game.
Yes.
He was going at Tatum defensively. Like he was not scared at all. Yeah. I thought he was really good. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if he can.
He had 23 for them.
Yeah, I know. I thought he was really
defensively
good.
And offensively.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. Some of these young players are really, really good.
It is interesting now. I mean, I don't know. Both like Jalen Johnson and Zaire Williams, just kind of top picks from a few years ago that didn't look like they were panning out. Kind of emerging in their second or third years.
Yeah. I'm still kind of waiting for Nick Claxton because I think he's a very good player. I just still don't think that they have figured out kind of how to use him.
Yeah, agreed.
I thought he was good a few years ago, and then he sort of, with the Nets, kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
Wasn't, but it's just very interesting to me that they can't figure out.
Well, he was really good, when they had KD and Kyrie and all those guys. He was kind of like...
And maybe that's the problem is passing. Getting the ball to him the correct way.
Well, I also just think he's a little bit more, you can key in on him a little more and you kind of know that he's a threat there versus when you have, so many other guys, he can kind of play a little more under the radar. But you're right. He I don't think he's played to the potential that they thought he might.
No. His rebounding is always good. He had 10 in the last game. So anyway, he always kind of shocks me that he's not quite gotten.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right.
Larry Nance, I hope you're listening because you were the NBA.
Larry Nance
Jr., I hope you're listening because
rewriting the history books. Yeah, we'll splice that clip and just play. Larry Nance was Defensive Player of the Year. spread misinformation online. Yeah, not too much on my agenda elsewhere. They officially revealed the City Edition uniforms for the Celtics. They leaked a long time ago, so most people have probably seen them.
Not so good. Please tell me they're not yellow.
Oh, they're pretty bad.
Are they yellow?
They're not yellow, but they are like a lime green. It's not good.
What is it with the neon?
Yeah, look up Celtics City Edition jerseys.
Celtics City Edition.
They're not great.
Let's see.
They're like the lime green ones. You'll see them if you go to images. Yeah.
Wait, are they black with lime?
Yes.
Yeah. That's I don't know. Some of them are.
It's not the worst. They've grown on me slightly since I first saw them, but they're not good. They're not as good as the Bill Russell ones for sure, or the cream ones last year, which are pretty good. Yeah, me. Not a fan. Thumbs down from me. But, that's how it goes. Let's see. What else do I have on my agenda? Oh, I got my first look at Cooper Flagg this week. Watched the Kansas game, the main event.
They win?
They lost, actually. But, he had 2 turnovers last 2 possessions.
17.
Yeah, he's 17.
He's 17 years old.
Yeah. Half the players are like 22, 23. It's crazy. It's insane.
Yeah.
So
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Playing
17-year-olds.
Yeah, it was a little freaky.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess yeah, it's weird. It's weird the way it works cuz in Europe it's a little different where they have the academies. So you go into like the academy and you're playing on you might play for the Barcelona under 21 team and you're a young guy, and then even if you're 16, 17, you might play on the senior team and do the trainings, and so it's not as like you're 17 and in college.
Yes. That's a little odd.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. It is a little bizarre,
but it's only a year, you think, but like where do you draw the line?
Then you're in the NBA.
Hopefully you draw the line.
But then he's in the NBA. And it's like it's like, oh, now you're an adult.
Yeah. When you're not really an adult.
Yeah, exactly. It is
a little scary.
Correct. But yeah, I mean, he looks like he belongs at least on the court with all those other guys.
He was really good. I did watch a little bit.
So you never know. I saw a graphic today on Instagram of the number 1 high school players from like years past, and not all of them. I'd say the majority of them have not panned out. Couple in there, Michael Porter Jr., Austin Rivers. I don't remember. There was only a few that were still in the NBA.
Yeah.
But so you never know how that's good. But the hype is high for him, so we'll see. It will be interesting. See where he lands. Washington or something. All right. Up next for the Celtics.
Big one.
Saturday. We have a long break between some of these games now. Yeah. We don't play until Saturday against the Raptors at home.
That's not a big one.
And then
it shouldn't be a big one.
No.
I guess I shouldn't say that out
exactly.
loud. Don't say that out loud.
Well, don't let the Celtics who are listening to this podcast hear that. They'll be out Friday night.
Shouldn't be a big one, but it could be a big one. Yeah. That's not the big one I'm looking for.
No, the big one is, again, long layoff Saturday to Tuesday, but next Tuesday, the 19th, home for the undefeated Cavaliers. Hopefully they're still undefeated by the time they get to us. I think they hit 13-0. So, yeah, that'll be a big one. I hope,
They've had a couple close ones that they've pulled it out. So it'll be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Kenny Atkinson, their new coach, has really turned it around. He's a good coach.
Yeah.
He got ran out of Brooklyn by the KD and crew. But good coach, I think, former Warriors assistant. And I haven't watched a lot of them this year, so I can't say how they've been winning these games. But
I haven't watched them at all either. I would like to. Maybe they're playing a game in the next couple of days when we aren't.
Yeah,
so
let's check what they're up to.
Try and catch them. But they seem injury-free, which, obviously there were injuries.
Yeah, they beat the Sixers yesterday, who, it
was closer than it probably should have been. But
Well, everyone played, no? Or
I don't think it made it.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right. Embiid and
it was a back-to-back,
Paul George didn't play.
Yeah.
Which, what's going on with them?
I don't know.
It's like,
Can't imagine.
It's like, okay, I get it. Embiid's always hurt. You're going to limit him, try to get him to the playoffs healthy. But it's, well, you have to make the playoffs. Yeah. You're 2-9. Yeah. Like, you can't. Yeah. You're not. Like, at what point do you start panicking? Like, what if we don't even make the playoffs?
Yeah.
But
if you're the Sixers fans, can you imagine?
Oh my gosh! Again, like I've said all year, it's the fact that he played in the Olympics.
Paul George.
My mind.
Where's Paul George?
Yeah.
Has he played yet?
Yeah.
Oh, he has
played.
He's
played more than Embiid, but they both sat out last game. Just the fact that Embiid played the Olympics make me lose my mind. It's like,
well, exactly.
Diving all over the floor in the summer, and then the season starts and you're not available.
Well, in the playoffs. The twitching eye, meds he was on, and then you go
all
play
of a sudden,
in the Olympics.
Yeah, but then you're hurt. You play the Olympics, you're hurt again. Oh my God, I'd be furious.
Yes. Yeah, not a healthy thing to do.
But yeah, Cavs will be the big one Tuesday, and then again another long layoff. They don't play till Friday until they travel to Washington. We get another look at the Wizards.
Hopefully, not a big game.
So,
if it is, we're in trouble.
Gear up for the big one Tuesday. Otherwise, pretty chill week in the Celtics universe. Fingers crossed. No off the court drama like tweets from Nike. But you never know. You never know with the NBA.
Bad boy Jaylen Brown.
Bad boy Jaylen
Brown.
Well, that's all I have on the agenda, unless you got any closing arguments for this week's Shamrock Talk.
I said
we can wrap up.
I think 3 things overall. One, trying to keep the predictable one-on-one offense a little bit lower.
To a minimum, yeah.
A little bit less.
There are times, you know who actually is my favorite when we do that is Drew. When Drew's like, well, I'm just going to back you down real quick and get right to the basket.
Sometimes he just doesn't use the backboard, though. Like, there are a few of his where I'm like, it's kind of in, but it's not
He'll miss some bunnies for sure, but he gets straight to the point. It's not between the legs. Oh, I lost the ball. It's always, I'm going to dribble straight to the basket and
didn't Tatum dribble it off his foot last night?
I think he did. I'm sure.
Yeah. So that, 2, intensity. Come out. And when we play the Cavs, the intensity is going to be great. You know that. Yeah. Because they're ready for it. They're undefeated. They're, just to come in that first quarter and have the same intensity you would against an undefeated Cavs.
Big games like that, they always...
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying. Is they have no problem with that. If we lose that game, it's not going to be because of intensity.
Correct.
It's going to,
they beat us.
But to have that intensity Q1 for every game is,
it's
much
hard.
As you can.
Again,
I agree.
It's a delicate balance because, at the same time, you don't want your important players that you need for the playoffs diving and hurting themselves and against the Hawks,
in some ways, though, you don't want to be diving and hurting yourselves to catch up in the 3rd and 4th quarter.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's kind of like, there are times
win the game, and then it's like, let Jordan Walsh play.
Yes. And moving off the ball, there were a couple of times where, what is this? And is that because of our one-on-one and ISO? And you'll be watching them, and someone's dribbling, and then they get double teamed, and we aren't cutting at all. People are.
It's always at the end of the game too. It's like
because they expect that 3 or that one-on-one to go up, but I'm like,
I expect that 3. I'm like, here we go.
I'm like, where's the cutting? Cut, people.
Yeah.
But anyway, overall, you can't complain too much.
Mm-hmm.
We're nitpicking.
We always are nitpicking.
We're nitpicking.
You got to nitpick with the defending champions.
Yes.
It's not.
Yes.
Not too much to
complain
go
about
on.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. That's this Shamrock Talk for the week of November 14th. Like always, worldwide, you can find us everywhere at Shamrock Talk Pod on Twitter, Shamrock Talk on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, all your favorite places, wherever you get us. Here we go. We're in the midst of the season. We got to get some guests in here, spice some things up. In the midst of the NBA season, things can get a little dry, a lot of games. So if you want to be on the pod, let me know. Wednesdays or Thursdays, usually recording days, depending on Celtics schedule and our schedule.
As long as you don't pick on Drew or Peyton Pritchard. I don't care.
No, Joe. Well, we'll call out Joe, the ultimate anti-Pritchard guy. It's unbelievable.
As long as you don't pick on Pritchard or Drew, I won't say anything.
It's unbelievable. But we'll get Joe. We'll get guests in here for sure. We got to get a third mic going.
Yeah, I don't know how you can be anti-Pritchard.
I know. Well, we'll get him in here and we'll hear what he has to say. And that's it.
That's it.
We will see you next week. Go Celtics.
Go Celtics.